I'm still devastated for what happened. I, 39 male, married my wife, 39 female, 16 years ago. She had a 2-year-old, father unknown. I adopted him and he is the star of my world. I would do anything for him. He always knew he is not biologically mine. When he was 15, he started acting strange towards me. He was colder and acting out towards me. I thought it was just a teenage phase. I then found out my wife told him who his bio father is. He even met him a couple of times. I was pissed at my wife. She lied to me and then told him behind my back. The trust was gone and I filed for divorce. She moved out and my son stayed. He started hanging out with his bio father more and more, and he didn't want to do anything with me. I suggested therapy, but he turned that down. Come today, my family organized a late graduation party for my son last Saturday. My ex and her family were invited too. When the day came, he just didn't come. I was pissed. Then my niece showed me on Instagram another party that my ex's family organized. They were all there, including bio dad and his family. My heart broke, and my family consoled me all day. I had enough. Next day, when my son got up, I called him to the kitchen and told him I'm done. I told him to pack his bags and get out. He was freaking out, begged to stay, but I stood my ground. He moved to his ex's parents. I got a lot of calls from my ex, her family, and bio dad how devastated he is. Now I feel bad. I still love him, but my heart is broken by his rejection. Am I the a-hole for kicking my son out? Not the a-hole, but this is devastating. Your ex and bio dad intentionally planned the party the same day you did. They are using your son as a pawn. Son may have also realized the hard reality that mom and bio dad don't really want him, since he isn't living with either of them. With that said, son is 18. You can kick him out, especially if you feel used and emotionally battered. I'm sorry, OP. This sounds rough. Not the a-hole. You are demonstrating that people have a right not to be walked over. This is being a parent to a proto-adult. He crossed the line. He now has a chance to learn a lesson that will benefit him for the rest of his life. It may take him years, but stick to your guns. Not the a-hole. Your son could have 2 dads. He has decided to keep only the bio dad. So you, the ATM dad, are done with him. He doesn't treat you with the love you deserve. Update. I met only with my son 3 days after my last post. I wanted to have a conversation with just him. I asked him what's going on, and what he told me completely broke me. He told me he met his bio father even before he was 15, about 5 years before. He went regularly with his mother. He really liked him. When he turned 15, they told him he was his bio dad. They also asked him not to tell me. He was so happy that he knows his bio dad that he had no problems to do as they asked him. Sometime later, they then told him that they are in a relationship for some time now and that they love each other. My ex intended to divorce me, but it was not the right time to do so yet because she was not financially ready yet. He saw how happy she was with him, so he approved of this. But then I found out about his bio dad. He was pissed at me for divorcing his mother because she was not ready yet. He stayed with me because I was closer to school and friends. I was more financially stable too and would pay for his college. My ex approved this. I was not surprised, but still, I was stunned with this info. I asked him how he sees us moving forward. This is where a big bombshell came. He told me his dad will take a loan to pay for his college. I showed him my love is conditional and he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. That his dad and mom are getting married and he will be dad's best man. He intends to change his last name to his dad's. I was crying by this point and told him I will respect his wishes. He left. Forever. My life is at an absolute low point right now. My family is devastated, but they are really there for me. I'm very grateful for them. I'm very depressed and consuming way too much alcohol. I know it's not smart and intend to stop. It will take a long time to recover. I am searching for a therapist. I have 4 daughters, Charlie, 25, and Amy, 21, and my stepdaughters, Claudia, 15, and Rose, 17. I had a son, Isaac, who was Charlie's twin. He passed away from leukemia when he was 19. When he was diagnosed at 14, there was a lot of medical bills to pay for Isaac's treatment, and I ended up working a lot to pay for his hospital bills. During that time, my ex-wife Brenda slept with Jake behind my back. I found out about the affair, and we had a divorce when the twins were 15 and Amy was 11. All of them knew the full story of what happened, and my ex and I had 50-50 custody. Charlie visited Brenda till she was 16, after which she stopped. We told Amy what happened when she was 14. But the thing is, Jake is quite wealthy, and Amy preferred it there more because she got spoiled. She eventually chose to stay with Brenda when she turned 16. During this period, I met Lucy. I fell in love with her and got married when the twins were 19. Isaac passed away a few months after. Lucy herself had 2 daughters, Claudia and Rose, and they were both welcomed into the family. My son passed away a few months later. When Amy moved with her mom permanently, she cut off all ties with us. She didn't leave peacefully, too. She insulted everyone in the family and left. One of the things she yelled was, "I don't want to be a part of this crappy family." She went no contact with us, too. On November, Jake and Brenda were charged with fraud, breaking and entering, and apparently they were also in debt. They lost their homes and were thrown in jail. Since none of the other relatives were able to take her in, Amy came to us. I didn't want to take her in, but Lucy convinced me to let her stay for a bit, till she gets back on her feet. Well, ever since she left, there have been a lot of changes to the house, and Amy has been complaining about them since she arrived. She complains about how she can't touch the snacks, and how she has to pay for her own snacks and clothes. We feed her 3 meals a day, plus afternoon snacks. How she was given the smallest guest bedroom, and how the other girls got big personalized bedrooms. How on Christmas the girls got amazing gifts, and she only got a gift card. The last straw for her was New Year's. We took the girls to a big party while she stayed at home. When we got back, she started yelling at me how I'm a horrible father, and how I replaced her with Claudia and Rose. I told her that she's the one who renounced the family, and so she wasn't allowed in family things. But a lot of people are telling me that I'm essentially replacing her for something she did when she was a young, impulsive teen. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I would like to add, everyone including her has been in therapy before she left, and after she came back. Nothing has come out of it. Amy has also made it clear she wants no relationship with me, and is here because she's desperate. And by made it clear, she told it to my face. Not the a-hole. Since she made it clear she wants nothing to do with you, but still expects you to treat her like your daughter. It's kind of ducked of her. She sided with cheater mom, since affair partner had money. Didn't need to cut off father, but did. Crawling back, and rather than ask forgiveness, is still the entitled brat she's been. No need to be the bigger person to an unrepentant kid. Parents shouldn't deny reality for their children. Actions have consequences. You've taken her in when she didn't deserve it. That's already more than enough. Not the a-hole. Everyone sucks here. Amy was 10 when she found out her brother was dying. You threw yourself into work, and her mother threw herself into the arms of another man. The adults couldn't get it together, so you two broke up the family instead of focusing on your children's trauma. Then, just as her brother is dying, you make sure she knows you left because her mom cheated. I don't blame her for not wanting anything to do with you at that age. You should have all been in therapy. I'm guessing there's a lot more going on, but Amy has had time to process her feelings. I'm not surprised she's failed to thrive as a young adult with such trauma and lousy parents. But it sounds like she has taken the victim role and is causing trouble for your stepdaughters, who are blameless here. Therefore, she sucks. You suck for not realizing what you did to your poor kids and not being grateful she's willing to have anything to do with you now. Apologize for how things went down when she was a teen and for punishing her since she's been back. Her response then is up to her. Update. First of all, I want to thank some You're the A-hole commenters for their point of view and advice. It didn't even cross my mind that Brenda could have manipulated Amy. After reading some of them, I did sit and try to talk it out with her. However, it didn't end well, and we did end up yelling at each other. Second of all, I would like to clarify some things. 1. Yes, my wife had to convince me to let Amy in. She, Amy, showed up at my house in the middle of the night, demanding for a place to stay without any explanation. I only found out about Brenda being arrested after the police came to talk to me about it. 2. No, I didn't tell my then 11-year-old child that her mother cheated on me. She was told when she was 14 or 15. 3. Someone pointed out that I put Amy in the worst guest room in the house. I would like to clarify, there are 2 guest bedrooms in the house, and the only difference is that the bigger one has a connecting bathroom. That one is being used by Lucy's nephew, whose college is nearer to us, and he pays us rent. He was visiting his family during the holidays, so it slipped my mind he was there. 4. For the people who are still hung up on the fact I make my eldest daughter and Amy pay for snacks, which only they can eat, I would remind you they live here rent-free, no chores except keeping their rooms clean, and they are being fed 4 times a day, and their college is fully paid for. As someone who grew up in Europe, this is much more than anything I got and their friends are getting. 5. Yes, this whole thing is in my viewpoint. I've tried to be unbiased, as I could see I was angry when I posted here. I would also like to add I have no idea what happened at Brenda's house while Amy was there. I would also like to say that Amy no longer lives here. We just found out that she was pregnant from a hookup, and she wanted me to support her and the baby. Sort of exact conversation. We did it in our language, so I had to translate. Me: so what are your plans with the baby? Amy: what do you mean? It's your grandchild. Me: yes, but they're your child. So what are your plans? Amy: I have the education fund in my job. I can buy an apartment. Me: what about college? Amy: I can drop out. I mean, you're here, aren't you? Me: so the kid is your responsibility. If you don't want them, I'll adopt the kid and take care of the kid, but not you. You still have to find a way to survive. Amy: so you'll take care of the baby but not me? Then me and her started to argue. That was a summary of the conversation. She left a few days ago to her friend's house, and when she got approved for a dorm, is now in her hostel. Background: my dad passed away when I, 20 male, was 6. He had 3 older kids from his ex-wife: RJ, 45 male, Rain, 47 female, and Rose, 49 female. He was separated but not divorced from his wife when he and my mother, 58 female, got together. They had their own trust funds, and when I was born, he made me his sole beneficiary to anything and everything that was in his name, besides their trust funds, of course, and most specifically, his house, since his kids had their mom's house. In my dad's final days, he made sure that all his assets were in order and that I'd get everything I'd need in life. He passed 7 days later. His ex-wife came to the property and kicked us out since they were still legally married. Now on to the problem. I'm now of age, and because of the housing market, I want my house, so I went to visit the area, for memories, and to see if there were any damages, since I haven't seen it since I was 6. But to my surprise, I found my brother on the property with his wife and family. I said hi, and wanted to catch up, because I do love my brother, although he's never taken an interest in me, and instead of replying, told me to get off his property. Confused, I asked what he meant, and he told me to screw off, and he knows I'm here for the house, and that he and his family made it their home this year because his mother passed and, unfortunately, lost the house due to her gambling addiction. I asked if we could work out something, but he again told me to leave. I don't know how he got the house. He blocked my number, as did his wife, and refused to talk at all. I have it in writing that it belongs to me and only me, and my dad's lawyer has been contacted and informed me that my brother has warrants and has a very bad criminal history. If I did take him to court, he would serve a few years at least. He has a new baby and 2 kids under 6. His wife also has a criminal record. So I wouldn't want to do anything that would put his babies in danger or tear apart their family. But he won't reason with me, and my other siblings don't like me, so I have no one to talk to. Would I be the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If that is your house, I say go after it. Your dad had his reasons for what he did. You have to think of your future, because I dare say your brother isn't. So you're clear. You suing your brother will not send him to prison. That is not a possibility. The government would have to charge him with a crime. If you mean you making him come to the courthouse will get him arrested on his warrants, that is not your problem nor responsibility. You need to get a lawyer and sue him ASAP. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. First of all, go to a lawyer to review everything that has happened. With your dad still being married, there might have been some issues with you even gaining the property. Maybe the prenup or default marriage structure where you live makes everything go to the longest living spouse. A will specifying otherwise doesn't trump marriage contracts or law. So even if he did will it to you, a lore-strong contract, marriage contract, or general law might have nullified the way the will wanted to split the inheritance. Hell, even the way the trusts were transferred, inherited, might have made for some weird implications. You're not the a-hole to sue, but first make sure you actually are or have been owner, and why that changed. My ex and her family have acted horribly the whole time we've raised our son together with joint custody. My wife and I even had no contact orders for some of these people for a period of our lives. Both my son and stepdaughter have graduated high school and are going to college in fall. My stepdaughter's father and his family are wonderful people, so we arranged a large party with everyone on both sides invited to the party. And while we were planning for my son's party a week later with my family, he shocked us by saying that he wants his mom and her family there. We've never had joint parties with his mother's side of the family, and he's aware of the issues we faced because of them. But he's refusing to budge and made an Instagram post saying it's sad how his father can't put aside petty stuff from the past, even after he's turned 18. My ex and her family all responded to the post, putting dirt on my and my wife's name. It was humiliating because a lot of people we know follow my son on Instagram. I got angry and said he can either have the party with just my family or he won't have one at all from us, and I wanted him to delete that post first. Now he's not talking to me, and the party is up in the air. His mother's side won't even have their own party because they are supporting him and wanting a joint one. My parents and brother are saying I should just give in and just hope my ex and her family don't start anything at the party. I'm of the mind that I've been harassed by those people enough, and why should I have to host people who've tried many times to ruin my life and career? And I'm very sad that what should have been a happy thing has now become this. I feel badly for my son that his parents cannot get along, but I hoped he'd understand where I'm coming from. He's seen the damage my ex and her family have inflicted on my life. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but you need to have a grown-up talk with your son. Explain to him that you love him, but that he's not a child, and he doesn't get to be completely self-centered and selfish when it comes to other people. He needs to respect other people and respect their right not to associate with people that have hurt them. He can't demand to be the complete center of the universe and the only person whose feelings matter. Your ex has done multiple hurtful things to you, and while you aren't going to put him in the middle of that, he doesn't get to demand you forget all of that just so he can pretend nothing's wrong. He's 18, not 8. This is a part of raising a good kid into a good person. Otherwise, he turns into that a-hole Switzerland friend who's always like, I don't care if ex-friend did horrible crap to all you guys. He hasn't done anything bad to me, so you all need to suck it up and accept that I'm going to invite him to parties with you. No one likes that guy. Not the a-hole. If you were able to obtain legal action against these people, then your grievances are clearly not petty. Your son doesn't get it because I assume you weren't the type of parents to unload your drama on him as a child. He's an adult now and wants to insert himself. Maybe it's time for an adult conversation about boundaries and why some are better left in place. No a-holes. But you need to sit your son down and explain the differences. Judges don't grant no contact orders for petty stuff. And while it would be nice if everyone could get along, it's not your job to facilitate any form of relationship, even just a civil or cordial one for a party, with people who have harassed you. Your son, however, still knows that it's his family that is being excluded, so he's also not the a-hole, even including the Instagram post.